We are back on this topic. It has become quite a thorn in the flesh. I think almost every family in Kenya, every household, they have a child in school and probably in high school. And we have had these incidents that have been taking place for the last 2 weeks, that there is a lot of unrest in our schools. And we have seen for the first time schools that never used to have incidents of unrest and strikes and the burning of buildings and so on, getting into this problem. And of course, we saw the Utumishi Academy incident, and I think this is what pricked the conscience of most Kenyans, parents, leaders, and even the general public. Many have made comments on this matter, and I have commented on this, but I thought we need to have more comments, because the first time a school like Alliance High School has closed because of unrest and a feeling that the students were not safe in the school. Schools like Miranda, these are senior schools, national schools. Kakamega High School, these are schools that have been role models for others. Loreto Limuru. I mean, when you hear those schools going on strike, being sent home in the middle of the term, before the term is concluded, I mean, it sheds, shivers down our spines as parents, as leaders, as spiritual leaders. We cannot just remain silent. And I want to ask, what is it that is happening within our schools? What is this that has come around that is making some of the most respected schools with the serious administrations, including State House girls? Why is it that these schools are having unrest? Why have students been sent home? Why have some burnt their dormitories and properties in school? Why has destruction happened in our schools? Is it normal? In my the last episode I made, I said that life is spiritual, and there must be some spiritual foundations to what we are seeing. And so, in trying to understand these current happenings, I want to start on that position that all things are spiritual, that what we see in the physical is controlled in the spiritual. And I dare say, I think as a country, as a people, our morality, our spirituality is under test. We are under test in terms of our own godliness, the way we live as a people, our choices, our moral choices, how we are bringing up our children. Are we bringing up our children to fear God first? If then they don't fear God, then they will not fear anything else. There is an expression I'm fond of using. I say, fear God, and you'll have nothing else to fear. But then if you don't fear God, then all the other things will become a problem. You know? And that is why I want to address this matter. And I know a lot of parents, wherever you are, and you are watching this, I know a lot of parents are concerned by the happenings in our schools. Many of them cannot sleep because they are not sure that their children are safe. I am a parent myself, and my daughter is in high school. And at times I'm wondering, is she safe in school? When you see these things happening, of course, there must be a spirit behind the happenings that we are seeing. Because why should all of a sudden a school that has not had an incident of a discipline, of an unrest for the last 100 years, all of a sudden things change? Of course, we are told about exams, that the children are afraid of the mock exams. But I thought mock exams have been there for as long as the schools have been there. We ourselves, we did exams, many exams. There are schools that have, especially towards the exams, where students are doing exams fortnightly. Every 2 weeks they are doing exams. So why all of a sudden have students fear to do mock exams, not even the main exam? And they already know that there is an exam coming anyway. So that phobia, that fear, what is the origin of that fear? And I think we have not mentally prepared, psychologically prepared, spiritually prepared, and emotionally prepared our young people to face issues of life. To me, if you ask me, exams that we do in schools are just a preparation for the mini exams of life. Life has many situations that will require somebody to be able to forbear certain pains. Life has pains. Even in the workplace, it is not always rosy. You see, I'm reminded of one time I visited one of our police training schools, police training institutions in Kenya. And I was sat in the office of the commandant of that institution. And the matter I was discussing with him early in the morning. And his assistant comes. It was about 8 a.m., 8:20 a.m. And his assistant comes to the office while I was talking to him. And he reported one or two matters. And as he was concluding, he told him, Kurutu Moja, one of our new guys who have come to the police college for training, amevunjika muguu. He had a fracture in the morning when they were doing the morning run. And I was waiting for the commandant, Astuke, to stop everything else and to go to deal with the case of this one who has had his leg suffer a fracture. But he continued serving me. And he's a respected commandant, very respected. And I was asking him, why are you not attending to this emergency that has happened, that one of your recruits has had a fracture? And these men looked at me in the eye and said, you see, James, these are soldiers. And the soldiers must go through adversity and hardships. And our training here is not a soft training. Things will happen. Fractures can happen. And they must know that they have been initiated to a profession where pain is part of the game. They have to forbear a lot of pain. They have to forbear a lot of adversity. They have to be prepared for the worst case scenario. Because then when they go to real work, when you are out there and you are dealing with the terrorists, you cannot be a softie. You have to have some hard metal on yourself. And so he talked to me and told me about his rising in rank. He told me he did not rise in rank from nowhere. He was involved in the shifter wars and dealing with terrible enemies of this country. And at one point, his troop was attacked in when they were fighting. And an ambush was laid against them. And several of his people were hurt. And I think a few killed. And himself, he suffered gunshot wounds to his legs and other parts of the body. But he told me he gathered himself in pain. He took his gun. He took a strategic position. And he was able to deal with those terrorists until help came. Why am I talking about this? I am saying we must be able to teach our children that life is not always rosy. It is not just a tambarale. That life has exams, has trials, has hardships, has difficulties. And probably that is why so many of our young people today, because we have brought them up, you are providing everything. You are not allowing them to face the realities of life. That is why when there is a little problem, when a young person maybe is in a friendship with a girl, and this girl refuses and says no, now we have to part ways. A lot of these young people cannot withstand the rejection. Some of them have killed themselves, others have done worse things. So I want to say, our children in schools, what ought we to do as a people? Because we want to be solution-oriented. We cannot complain, government. We can look at what to do. Because for one, I want to ask the same principles, the heads of institutions, they have been there before. The heads of these institutions, they are trained in the same institutions. They have been there. They have been mentored. They have grown in the ranks. So I don't think it is teachers. I don't think it is the administrators. There could be some areas of omission or commission. And these are personal, probably different in different places. But I think on the general scale, our teachers are well trained to handle students. And so there could be other extraneous factors. Because I think these schools have not changed. They are the same schools. Some people have commented about the intake, that more students have been admitted in these schools than the capacity of the schools. That is one point we should look at. And look at congestion in the schools as a factor. The students getting the services they ought to get in school in a good way? Are they getting sufficient food? Are they being taught? Do they have learning and teaching materials that are needed? Are teachers available in class? Those are the things we need to ask. But above that, I want to propose that because of the situations that we are going through, and because of the change of the way our communities are today, families are different. There are a lot of families today that are broken families. Families where the father and the mother parted and the child is left with one parent, probably the mother. There are a lot of children who are orphans today. There are a lot of children who are born out of wedlock, who are born outside of marriage. And there are many who are there. And so probably some of them have lacked a mentorship, a father figure, a mother figure, and whatever you may call it. And so one of my suggestions is that each school, especially the big boarding schools, should have a resident chaplaincy in schools. Because we need to spiritually anchor our children to know that even when things seem like they are not working, even when they are under pressure because of exams, they have someone they can talk to. They have someone who can tell them, you got a C, we are going to pray, work hard, you can get a B next time. That you don't have to fear the exams, panic during exams. That can be handled by some form of pastoral care. And so I think the offices for chaplains in schools are going to be necessary moving forward. Today we are having very young students going to high schools, boarding schools, because of the change in curriculum. Now, they need to be handled by someone who can understand them, who can feel their heartbeat, who can handle their emotions, who can be available to receive their frustrations and to hear them from a spiritual perspective, and be able to comfort and tell them it is okay with you even when they feel like things are broken. I know we have counseling departments in schools, and that is something else again that should be strengthened further. But now counseling will handle the mental issues, mental health issues. It may handle a bit of the emotional issues. But counseling by itself may not handle spiritual issues adequately. And human beings are spiritual. Human beings are spiritual. We must be able to address the spirituality of our children, and so that then we can guide them correctly. Some of them have been introduced in the wrong spiritual circles. Today we have a lot of other forces, spiritual forces, that are seeking to penetrate the spirituality of our children. That is why you're having the Illuminatis, you're having the Freemasonry, you're having a lot of these cultic agents trying to penetrate our schools. We have issues of homosexuality. We have issues of lesbianism. We have agents that have come that are introducing LGBTQ, and they want to introduce those things in schools. We have others who are coming in to teach our children not to respect authority. and they need to be brought to the place of spirituality to be told that you need to honor and respect authority, whether that authority is your parent or the school head or whoever that is, the class teacher, the subject teacher. They have to respect them. And these things cannot be forced, they can be taught. These things can be imparted. And that is why I think one of the approaches is strengthen the counseling departments, but also have active chaplaincy in our schools. One of our spiritual leaders in this country, Archbishop Henry Mulandi, has been so passionate about training and preparing chaplains for our schools. And he has brought together very many teachers who he is training and shaping in a very structured way to be able to handle issues of chaplaincy in our education institutions. And I think these are some of the efforts that we should encourage and that should get the support of government to be able to find a way to stabilize our schools. Spiritual programs in schools, whether in primary schools, whether in secondary schools, junior, senior, and I think those spiritual programs should be given enough time and should actually be taken seriously. Many a times, the time for spiritual programs is taken by other programs. I think we need a balance, and that balance can only be achieved by being able to allow those programs, spiritual programs, to take place. Spiritual programs that are monitored to ensure that they are legit programs. Number 3, I think safety measures within the schools are also important. And we have talked about having CCTVs. Of course, like the incident at Tumishi, we couldn't have known exactly what happened were it not for the CCTVs. And I encourage the Minister of Education, and I think the CS, Bwana Ogamba, should actually be on the toes, moving from school to school. Instead of taking an ambiguous position, you are saying through your PS, you have not closed schools, but where there is this and that, you can take measures as a school. I think we need sometimes to be more proactive. We want to see you visiting the schools, talking to the student, talking to parents, encouraging our young people. Move out of your offices and go to the field. That is where the trouble is. If all the schools close in Kenya, then what is your job? Who are you leading? If I were you, I would actually be in the field on every day, because this is a crisis. If we close the schools this early, what happens to the curricula? What happens to the coverage of the school curricula? And what happens to other programs that are supposed to be held in schools? Because our students are in school for a season, and there is what they are supposed to be able to accomplish within that time. There are certain objectives that must be achieved. So when we reduce the time of interaction between the students and the teachers by closing the schools, are we going to extend the school term? Who will pay for the extra time? Who will deal with the budgets that will be there? Even they are going home alone. You are talking of transport costs. You are talking of other costs. Who is going to bear that? And so I tend to think that the Ministry of Education should be more proactive, should move around the schools and make this issue an issue that is of concern. May you mobilize. I think you need to mobilize all your people, the sub-county directors of education, the inspectors of schools, the quality assurance officers. All of them should be around their schools. And I'm saying one of the things that you should strengthen in our schools is those safety measures, including the CCTVs. I think we need to have CCTVs for all those spaces where students can be able to do things, in secrecy and immerse the safety of the other learners. I know there are also people who have come up to talk about, the protection of the privacy of the students within the sleeping quarters. But I think man was not made for the law. The law was made for man. Those aspects of the law that are not working for us, we should find a way of dealing with them. I think it will be superfluous to say that we should not have CCTVs in dorms because of privacy, when that privacy is being, misapplied and causing children to die in dorms. I would rather break that law and know what is happening in the dorm. So if that law is not serving us, the parliament should take it up and be able to find a way of dealing with that, so that we can have, those spaces covered through the CCTVs, so that we can reduce incidents of some of these activities that are negative to the well-being of the schools happening in secrecy. Number 3, I think we should work with our schools and the administrators in our schools to strengthen other aspects of safety, including having equipment that can fight fires, for example, fire extinguishers, and I've talked about it. Horse reels in schools. I saw one of the schools, they are training their students to be able to move from the upper floor, the first, second floor of their dorms in case of an incident. They are doing fire drills, that if there is fire in your dorm, you have a way of escape. So we need escape mechanisms in our dorms. How do you come out in case there is an incident? Number 4, we need to create structures of reporting, intelligence gathering. Are you able to get the trust of the most of the students, the bigger proportion of the students in the school, so that once they know there is an incident about to happen, they can have early reportage of incidents, so that and when you get that intelligence, then you apply it, quickly. You don't assume. I think also the other issue that I would raise is there must be a very close relationship and working relationship between school administrators and the security officers within the regions where they come from. If you sense there is a problem about to happen in your school, I think there is need to quickly report to the nearest police, so that then the police can come in, and the police should be trained to handle students, not to cause commotion, but to come and work within the existing structures to contain, other than to punish, to contain, and to make our students feel they are safe in school. So safety measures should be enhanced. I have heard also some quotas where they are saying that we should abolish boarding schools. And I think this is not a well thought proposition. Because number one, you are talking of all those dorms in the thousands of secondary schools and primary schools, boarding schools will be left idle. They will just be there. Why did we invest in all this, in the beds, in the dormitories, if we are going then to just leave them like that? If we do that, then it means our young students, our boys and girls, will only study within the locales of their villages. And so the cross-cultural experience, the enrichment of our culture, when we come together in a boarding school from different communities and tribes, that will be lost. And so I think it is a very simplistic kind of argument, one of avoidance of the problem, to say that we close our boarding schools. I think what we need is to prepare our boarding schools to be better places for our students than just to say close boarding schools. My last point, I think the highest office in the land needs also to get involved. I've heard very little from the presidency, for example. He is a father figure of this nation. And I think the president should take time and address our students wherever they are and talk to them as a father and tell them things that will make them understand and see the sense of remaining peaceful in their schools and allowing the school term to be completed. And not just the school term, that they can go through that experience in school and become better people. Our students must be made to see the value of education in their own personal lives, in their formative years. That education is an equalizer. That education opens doors. That whether you are the best or you are not the best in the class, that is not all. that education opens your thinking, opens your space, and allows you to function as an enlightened member of the society. Education is not just about employment, because others are being told, you are in school for what? I mean, so and so came out of school, they are not employed. Education is not just for employment. Education is also for functionality, that you can function as an effective member of your society wherever you are. Because education has opened your thinking, has opened your precision of your environment, of other people, has opened your response to situations around you. You can function better. You can be a better leader. You can be a better business person. You can be a better father and a better mother because you have gone through education. You can be a better farmer. You can be a better citizen. You appreciate others. You appreciate yourself. You appreciate your environment. You appreciate your nation. You appreciate the globality of the universe. That is the reason for education. Education is not just for employment. Education is not just for getting a job. Education is for making me, for making you a better person who can reason, who can appreciate their people, their environment, and even the happenings around themselves, and respond to them in a reasonable, logical, or even realistic way. And so I want to talk to our students wherever you are as I conclude that, my friends, my sons, my daughters, we are here as your parents. We have come through school. We have been boarding schools. We have faced exams. We have faced issues in schools sometimes that were not comfortable. I know in some schools probably you have shortage of water. Sometimes you don't get the best meals that you desire. Sometimes the teachers are too tough. Sometimes you fear the exams. Other times you are fearing yourself. Some of you are fearing failure. You think the exam that is coming you not do as well. And when you don't do as well, parents will be on your necks. That the teachers will be scolding you for failing. I am talking to you. And I know we are living in a world that has so many challenges. Probably you have seen the elders of this nation do things that are not palatable. And sometimes you wonder why you cannot also do the things you have seen them do. I know there have been strikes and demonstrations in the cities of this nation. You have seen them burn things. You have seen them destroy businesses. Those are not the right role models. You can choose to be a better person than those things. Even though we have seen the worst of this nation, there are also good people in this country. There are people who care that the nation of Kenya stands. There are people who pray for this country. They are good role models. They are the James Mwangis of this country. They are the Kivuta Kibwanas of this country. We have good role models. They are the late Wangari Maathais of this country. There are enough examples of good people that we can copy. There are spiritual leaders we can copy. If you can't get them in the country, there are also other role models outside of this country globally. And today the world is a global village. You can choose a role model for yourself. And I want to speak to you. You shouldn't fear exams. Exams are not there to intimidate you. Exams are there to qualify you. You want to get to the next level. You want to get to college. You want to be a lawyer. You want to be a doctor. There must be an exam to qualify you for the next level. And exams have always been there. Sometimes you don't get the best food in the school. But you are in school so that you can gain knowledge and the skills that will help you one day to buy the best meal that you love. You are in school so that one day you can have the capacity to choose the kind of meal, the house you want to sleep in, and so on and so forth. Because school is a place of formation, is a place of growth, is a place you receive knowledge and skills, is a place you learn to appreciate others. And so school is not a career. School is a period. It's a short period. Some of you have only 1 year to go. Form 4s, only 1 year. And you're out of that school. And then you go to college. Some of you have 2 years, 3 years. But you'll be out of that place. So you don't have to feel like you are constrained. School is just an experience for a period so that you can be qualified for the next level. So I want to urge you, don't destroy what others have built. Those dorms have cost money. There are those who have invested in that. A lot of students have come to that school. They have slept in those dorms. And now they are leaders. They are business people. They are respected people. They are pilots. They are nurses. They are teachers. Even yourself. Don't destroy that infrastructure. There is a child tomorrow who would want to come and find that infrastructure so that they can benefit from the same. I want to tell you, all is not lost. Even when you feel like it is too much, it is possible that those things that stress you can be handled. Talk to a parent somewhere, talk to a counselor, talk to a pastor, talk to your teacher, talk to somebody who can listen and hear you. I understand your issues. I know where you're coming from. And I know sometimes, even when I'm talking to you right now, you're saying you don't understand. I may not understand, but you can make me understand what you are going through. And we can share that matter. And a burden shared is a burden halved. And so this is my plea to all of us. Let us not destroy again what others have built. To the teachers, get closer to those angels, to those students. They may look indisciplined, but you are there so that you can help shape their lives. To the chaplains, the pastors, let us guide our young people in the ways of God. And to the political leaders and the administrators and those in the Ministry of Education, play your part. Play your part. Come out of those offices. Come and talk to these young people. They are our ministers tomorrow. They are our doctors tomorrow. They are our lawyers tomorrow. We cannot afford to lose a generation today because we did not do what we ought to have done. And so, as I conclude, this is my take. Let us all take a step back and ask ourselves, what ought we to do as a country? What ought we to do as a country so that we may save this generation of young people in our schools from destruction? Thank you.